Welcome to the Finance Marketing Podcast, a show that empowers finance professionals to market their businesses in ways that feel good and actually achieve results. I'm your host, Hillary. I've been working with folks in financial services to develop marketing strategies that work and create results-oriented marketing content since 2020. And I've learned a lot about what works in finance marketing, what doesn't work, and where financial services pros get stuck. Join us each Friday as we explore real, effective ways to market your finance business and connect with folks who truly embody your ideal clients. My conversation this week is with Doug Greenberg, who leads Pinnacle Wealth Advisory. Pinnacle Wealth Advisory collaborates with a full range of professionals such as tax attorneys, CPAs, estate planning attorneys, and investment bankers to plan for and secure your financial future. With a breadth of experience, Doug works with business owners, individuals, and families to develop comprehensive solutions from portfolio and wealth management to estate planning and business sales. Now, Doug and I actually connected when I was writing articles for MarketWatch and was soliciting quotes from advisors who wanted to be featured in MarketWatch articles. And Doug just had some really, really insightful thoughts that I was excited to include in articles. So we recently reconnected and I invited him on the podcast. And in our conversation, Doug is sharing the exact LinkedIn strategy that he used to add over 3,300 new connections in just 6 months after moving to Austin. He's walking us through his relationship-first approach to outreach and revealing the simple message template that generated impressive response rates without being salesy or pushy. Doug also discusses how he strategically uses LinkedIn Sales Navigator to identify and organize prospects and shares the automation tools that help him scale his efforts while maintaining authenticity. So he's really striking that balance. So if you have been struggling to make LinkedIn work for your practice, but you know there's potential there, or if you're looking for a systematic way to build meaningful professional relationships in your market, this episode is a proven blueprint that you can implement pretty immediately. Doug's 32 years of advisory experience combined with his fresh perspective on modern LinkedIn marketing makes this conversation super, super valuable. So without further ado, let's dive in. Thank you, Doug, so much for joining me on this episode of the Finance Marketing Podcast. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Can we start? Can you just give us a quick overview of who you are, what it is that you do, maybe how you got into the field?
Oof. How much time do we have, right? I have been a wealth advisor for 32 years. I started at Morgan Stanley, was there for 24 years. Took some time off and then loved what I do so much that I restarted in a new format. And basically, I work mostly with business owners, helping them. Not only do I provide advisory help on their business, and I'll explain, but most importantly, what I do is I'll bring together both the personal side, which includes not only personal investments, but estate planning, with the business side and bring them together. And so what business owners have, what clients have, is kind of a financial consigliere that when they call, I'm here to help them through problems and through questions. For instance, when I logged on, I was on the phone call with a client, and you know he's in the process. I'm helping him. We're in the process of raising about $6 million for his business, and so he had a quick call. He had an inbound, and so we kind of helping him kind of learn about the process, and so I help those business owners because what happens with all of us, and especially in my opinion, founders or business owners, is they get very focused with blinders. And so what I want to be able to do is kind of open up those blinders, allow them to see maybe further down the road, maybe see that they need to hire people, they can't do it all themselves, and I just love helping people, and it's fun.
I love that. And I think too, oftentimes when people come to advisors, they think this person's going to help me with their money, but money touches so many more aspects of our lives. It's kind of hard to just silo it into its own thing. So I love that you kind of bring that to the forefront. You're also somewhat of a business consultant in a way, or a business advisor as well.
Right. And to your point, conversations that I've had with clients over the last 32 years run the gamut from helping clients get divorced and stay friends, helping clients do prenuptial agreements so they understand
Mhm.
And it also helps parents do prenup agreements for their kids to protect their estate, to, setting up interviews for parents when kids go off the rails with Outward Bound, right? And kind of
Mhm.
run that. So, it is more about the person and where they're trying to go and how can we get there, safely, easily, and have a flourishing life.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that you're one of the special ones. You're willing to go and have those conversations and do that. And I am actually curious, Doug. This is maybe a little bit tangential, but how do you set boundaries, in your work? Because I think there's so many areas where you could find yourself playing therapist when you necessarily don't want to be playing therapist. How do you find boundaries around that?
There's it's my choice, right? If I want to engage on a topic, it's my choice if I want to ask about, how their kids are doing. But we're humans, and we care about everybody. We care about people. And so, sure, can I manage or help with stress around money? Without a doubt. Can I help with stress around other parts in life? Because I've done this for 32 years and I have that experience. And where the issue comes in is when non-clients are wanting investment help or business help, and they don't get my model, and so they keep wanting to help, and I've got to be able to tell them this is my model again, and I'd love to work together, but this is my model.
Mm.
I think tangentially, what's maddening to me is when I hear from business owners who I'm in contact with and beginning to work with, when they say my advisor doesn't care about my business. And I think
Mm.
to myself, well, one, it's your single largest asset, so that's odd. Two, it's probably because they're not able to charge a fee on helping you.
Right.
But if I flip it and I ask that client, excuse me, that business owner or founder, right? If you had a big block, if you took your company and you sold it and you had a big block of, I don't care, Nvidia stock,
Mhm.
right? Boy, that advisor would take that Nvidia stock all day long and charge a fee to manage it,
Mhm.
right? And I think I'm a little more unique as that. I grew up in a family business here in Texas, and we had some 25 stores around the state, and I grew up in the business,
Mm.
and so I think that gives me more of a connection with the founder. I understand how they have to think and what they have to do, and I understand it's hard to delegate. I understand that certain types of people can't grow businesses
Mhm.
because they're focused on other things that they do really well, right? Like an engineer, right? Some
Mhm.
engineers can grow businesses, no doubt about it, but majority of them are focused on their craft and what they do. And the goal is to build that company around them so they can continue to do right what they're great at, and bring in
Mhm.
others that can provide the necessary talent and experience.
Mm. Well, now I know we're going to talk about a specific marketing strategy that's working really well for you. Before that, I'd love to ask you, you bring so much more to the table than just, oh, I help you manage your investments, right? You bring so much more to the table. How does that come through in your marketing? Because number one, it sounds like you provide a broad depth or of advice or advisory services.
Mhm.
But two, it sounds like you also form really deep connections with your clients.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's such a huge value add. So how does that come through in the marketing that you do?
Well, I'm a wealth advisor. I'm not a marketing guru. And so I struggle with that mightily
Mm.
in terms of getting across the information that's important, that's necessary, that helps people make decisions, through LinkedIn. But invariably, having a 1 hour or an hour and a half conversation with somebody, that's when they will begin to understand kind of the depth of the experience and the depth of knowledge,
Right.
because everyone has a different situation, and everyone needs different thoughts, ideas, strategies.
Mm.
And so, for instance, at noon today, I'm going to have a call with a friend of mine who just discovered that that the company that he owns shares in, it's a private company, is going to be bought.
Mm.
And they're in the process of working through the terms. And so he's like, I don't know what to do. He's a marketer. He says, I don't know what to do. He's like, this is what I think I want to do. And so we're going to have our first call to map it out. And we're going to look at a variety of different strategies depending on what he's going to tell me.
Mm.
So, I listen, I ask questions, I understand. Sometimes I have to noodle on it, but typically, we can sketch up a plan pretty quickly.
Mm.
And I think that's where folks go, wow, that's
Mm.
that's perfect. That's what I need. There's no BS. I've got another guy later in the day I'm talking with, and he was a referral. And the one thing he said to the guy referring me is, I hope he's not another person that's only trying to sell me insurance. And so I laugh back, LOL, right? Because I'm like, I don't do that. I'm not a product person, right? I'm strategy. And the guy was like, I didn't think so, but that's what he's worried about because we have a buddy who keeps trying to sell him insurance. And I was like, right, because we have to
Right.
keep this out, right? I don't,
Well, how great of your referrer to let you know so that you have that little bit of preparation going into the call. You know that's something that he cares about.
Well, and from my perspective, right, there's no threat because I don't do that kind of insurance,
Right.
but it gives me information that I know that he needs help, he's concerned, right? He doesn't want this to happen, but he may have other areas that he's concerned about, and it just makes me want to be more curious
Mhm.
about kind of his current situation.
Right. Right.
Now we're going to take a teeny tiny break to hear from our sponsors. Oh, hey, I am a sponsor of my own podcast, and the thing that I am sponsoring just happens to be free. It's my 7-day email list growth sprint designed for advisors who are tired of posting into the void and want to actually grow their email lists with qualified leads so that you can make your email list your next best source of new clients. 7 days, 10 minutes per day, super actionable tactics that work. How do I know they work? Because they're the tactics I use to grow my own email list. And they're exactly what I did to grow my email list by over 50 subscribers organically in just 30 days. Plus, you'll get exclusive access to my custom GPT lead magnet lab that generates compliance-aware lead magnet ideas specifically for financial professionals so that you can take your email list growth strategies to the next level. There is literally nothing else like it in our industry. So if you're ready to stop hoping that people will find you and start actively building your community, join the sprint at monetacopy.com/email sprint or find the link in the show notes. If you're a financial advisor, coach, or CPA, you have something a lot of financial content creators don't. Real expertise and authority that comes from actually helping people with their money every single day. You know what works, what doesn't, and what people really struggle with. And that is incredibly valuable content waiting to happen. The challenge, of course, is turning that expertise into content that is engaging and attracts your ideal clients. That's exactly what FinCon is for. You'll learn from other advisors, coaches, and professional content creators who have successfully built highly engaged audiences and grown their practices through content. You'll discover which platforms actually work for financial professionals, how to create content that builds trust instead of just getting likes, and most importantly, how to turn that content into real client relationships. The best part is that you're not starting from scratch. You already have the knowledge, credibility, and authority. You just need to learn how to package and share it. FinCon 2025 is September 10th through 12th in Portland. If you're ready to stop watching other people build audiences with your expertise and start building your own, visit finconexpo.com and use the code Moneta25 to get $25 off a creator pass. Can't wait to see you. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to it.
Well, let's get into your LinkedIn strategy. So what are you doing on LinkedIn? What is working well for you?
So when I decided to move to Austin, because I've been in Austin 10 months, when I decided to move to Austin, I was living in Oregon, and I was like, okay, I'm going to seed Austin, like seed the clouds. I'm going to seed Austin, and I'm going to start sending out LinkedIn messages. Well, as I said, I'm not a marketing person, so I was just was winging it from 32 years of talking to people. And it worked pretty well, but I didn't have the right snap. So when I got to town, I met a local CMO, and he had been building and ran his first cohort of, I think there were 5 of us, to teach us this. I think it might have been a 6-week or 8-week course. We'd meet every week. We'd have things we'd have to do, and he would just kind of bring us along to where at the end we were graduated. We had our final paper, et cetera, task. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. All right, I need to learn this. Well, at the same time, what I did is I hired a virtual assistant that started the classes with me. So my virtual assistant learned everything, had access to everything. And that allowed that virtual assistants to take that job on and manage and help with social media, help with LinkedIn, help with the operational piece. And that really took a lot off my plate. So what we ended up doing is we ended up creating a message, which was very simple, not selling anything. I want to start a conversation. And I put in there a line about, hey, I just moved to the area. Would love to get a restaurant recommendation. Okay.
Love that.
Right. So we had some back and forth. So what we did is we would identify in Sales Navigator the groups that we wanted to focus on. We then would push those into Dripify, create a sequence in Dripify, press send. And right off the bat, I mean, the CMO guy was blown away by our response rates. And so we didn't have to change anything. We just left it and we keep running it.
That's great.
And so I've probably added 3,300 people. Let's see, yeah, maybe on LinkedIn.
Okay.
In the last 6 months.
Uh-huh.
Now, so what happens is that they'll respond back. Maybe, hey, I love this restaurant. They won't respond back, and they'll click, okay, we're going to connect.
Uh-huh.
And so what the next part is, which is not, in a process, is that I go through the people that connected on, and I went, oh, you're a person that I want to have a lunch, coffee, a Zoom call with. So then I would follow up individually with, hey, I just want to get to know you, want to learn about what you do. I want to tell you what I do. I'm not trying to sell you. Here's my Calendly link, right? And let's get to know each other. And I don't have data on that because it's all one-off. But it's awesome to get an email that goes, oh, so-and-so just booked on your calendar.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And then I go, oh my God, who is that? Like I said, what's going on? And that's been incredibly helpful in terms of connecting with people, because then what happens is I'll go to an event here in town, and there's a lot of events in Austin for this ecosystem, and I'll see someone, and we'll have a conversation, and then we'll pull up our phones to connect, and we'll be like, oh, we're already connected first, and it's like even a further cement between that. And so, for instance, I use it as my network grows. I'm able to reach into that network and say, for instance, hey, I need this kind of a CPA. I get answers, right? Or focusing on CPAs, right? So I've got that CPA group, and I'm hitting them up, right? Yeah. through there, so that I can begin to build that ecosystem more. Because a lot of what I'll do with clients is they'll be like, hey, I got this problem. And I'm like, here's the person who solved the problem. Let me introduce you to them, because it's great to introduce two people that can help each other. And I need to have that, that roster of people that I've gotten to know.
Right.
So it's, and there are some people clearly where I've had multiple Zoom calls. We've never met, right? And I'm helping them, right? Because what obviously COVID taught us is we could still have a great relationship through a camera. Right. And we don't have to meet face to face. Right. I can still help you, and you can still share with me in a private setting. And so I think a lot of people today, business owners in particular, go, okay, so, why do I want to go waste 2 hours? I got to drive somewhere, have coffee, meet this, and then, So you got to
Mhm.
think about ways to make it easy. So, find a coffee place on the way or close to their location. But still, this is still on some days just the best way to communicate.
Absolutely. So, for anyone who's not familiar with the Sales Navigator process, can you walk us through how you can kind of find people that, fit the type that you're looking to connect with
I'm
in Sales
telling you,
Navigator?
it is an awesome application. It falls short in a lot of areas, but what it does well. And I think that we are very fortunate that we have Chat GPT in our lifetime, right? We
Hmm.
have these LLMs. And I think that we as humans restrict how we think about the LLMs and how to use them.
Mm.
And literally, I haven't done this because I just kind of did the hard way. But if I were to restart today with it, I would basically say, this is my person I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Tell me the boxes I got to check. Tell me what to put in those boxes
Mm.
and narrow it down. What I
Yep.
do focus on, and here's a piece that I forgot. What I do focus on are people that post. And so part of this strategy is, and again, it gets overwhelming, is within Sales Navigator, we have created what's it called? A group based on people that we want to comment on their posts.
Uh-huh.
And so in a perfect world, you would make a couple of comments on their posts over 2 or 3 days, hit them up, right, and then follow up.
Yep.
But when you're drinking from a fire hose, you got too many inbounds. I mean, you can't do that. And so
Right.
what? But I will tell you, it is incredibly powerful if you can sit for an hour, half an hour, and make comments on people's posts
Hmm.
and treat it as a conversation. Like I don't know if I've ever asked anybody for business on a LinkedIn conversation, right?
Right.
I mean, it's about getting to know someone. It's about connecting. It's about, hey, are you going to that? I'm going to that. Hey, let's meet, and to gain some comfort. There is just a great AI tool called Engage AI, and it allows you to create your own tones and create a variety of different ways to respond
Hmm.
to posts, and it just works great. And I would encourage that because you just need some help. I mean, to try
Right.
to think to respond for 30 minutes to a bunch of it would rack your brain, right?
Right.
So that really helps in terms of breaking the ice on people that are very, very busy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
But yeah, exactly.
Couple follow-up questions. So with this Engage AI tool, are you still reading the posts and then kind of telling it how to comment, or is it just commenting for you?
Well, I read the post. I have a choice of, I think, 9 different tones that I built.
Mm.
Gives you that, which is phenomenal because a lot don't. And then it's a little verbose, so I have to go in and remove some things to tighten it up and maybe change some things and then hit send. But
Mm.
it's just like that. But my point is, I build this contact list in Sales Navigator. So now I go to Sales Navigator, I look at and I go, here are the people that I want to hit,
Yep.
right? And my team knows that here are the people that we want to hit, so that we stay front of mind with our ecosystem.
So I have to ask, because it sounds like it's been great at getting you conversations. Have any of those conversations turned into clients or referrals to other clients, or is it still too early in the process yet?
Without a doubt, right?
Mm.
And marketing, it's a numbers game, right? So
Yep.
I just want to be able to share with the community what I do,
Hmm.
and help the ones that want the help or need the help.
Yep.
So I don't really keep a lot of metrics on that kind of stuff, but it's been phenomenal as another tool to get connected into the scene here in Austin, and founders and funders and startups, and raising money and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, Doug, as we kind of start to wrap up, is there anything that we haven't talked about yet that you think would be helpful to kind of round out our conversation?
Well, I mean, I think, again, having been an advisor for 32 years, a couple things. I recognize that advisors that are independent have much more flexibility and freedom with what they say, do, and can use in terms of applications. If you're captive in, a wirehouse or a FINRA type business, then you've got fewer things you can do. I would say that, I've always held the belief that you got to try a variety of marketing things, and whether that's LinkedIn, whether it's cold email, whether it's in person, whether it's doing podcast, whatever it is, to be able to share your story, you just gotta, you got to be doing them all, because you don't know when or how somebody's going to hear about you for maybe the 5th time, and they go, oh yeah, maybe I should talk to that person.
Right.
Right.
Right. It usually does take multiple touch points for someone, especially for a relationship that requires so much trust.
That is correct. That is very correct. Yes, that's a good point.
Well, Doug, if people want to learn more about you, where are the best places to find you?
My email is doug@pnwadvisory.com, and on LinkedIn, right?
Great.
And on LinkedIn, you'll see myself on LinkedIn, and you can read all my posts that I put out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us a little peek behind the curtain into your LinkedIn strategy. Really appreciate it, Doug.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Finance Marketing Podcast. If you're eager to market your business in a way that feels good and actually gets results, sign up for the Finance Marketing Podcast newsletter in the show notes so you never miss another episode. If you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening app and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you back here next Friday.